Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's head-to-head, new look, new head-to-head. It's no secret, I've been a big fan of Old Nation's M-43 since the first time I tried it. It's been around just as long as this channel has. It maybe came out a few weeks or months before I started this channel. It was my big introduction to New England-style IPAs. It's still my high bar. I measure every New England-style IPA against it. But I have been hearing a lot of great things about Cloud 19 from Brew Detroit. So today I'm going to put M-43 up against Cloud 19. And since this is the first time I'm having Cloud 19, I'm going to talk about the differences, maybe talk about, what each one does better, some pros, some cons. So let's get into it. Make sure to let me know what your favorite New England style IPA is in the comments down below. Could be Michigan, doesn't have to be. I'm going to take a look at the Cloud 19 label, because I haven't really looked at it much before, and I haven't talked about it before, but across the top, it says Brew Detroit Cloud 19 on the front with some clouds on it. On the back, it says a New England-style IPA, double dry hopped with Mosaic and Hallertau Blanc hops. It's from Detroit, Michigan, obviously. This is 7% alcohol by volume. If we take a look at Old Nation's M-43, it is 6.8% by volume. It is, I think it's triple dry hopped. It's Citra, Amarillo, and Simcoe. So little different hop varieties here. Price-wise, we're going to just talk about everything. Price-wise, $3.49 for a single of Cloud 19, $3.59 for a single of M-43. This M-43 was canned on July 7th, 2020. I don't know when this Cloud 19 was canned. I don't see any kind of canned on date or anything like that on this one, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So I've got two Tiku glasses, identical glasses, different breweries, but identical glasses. I'm going to crack the reigning champ here first, M-43. We're going to do that one up first. So let's go ahead and crack it. Put a nose on the can. Not going to lie, it's been a little bit since I've had an M-43. But out of the can itself, getting big dank notes, big dank aromas. Getting citrus aromas, getting almost just a really strong citrus, maybe notes of grapefruit. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this. I'm going to smell it out of the glass. Super hazy coming out of the can itself. Collecting in the glass, again, very hazy. That's what you should expect. It's M-43, it's very hazy. Looking at it, it looks like a glass of orange juice. It's nice and got a really deep orange color, getting about maybe a finger and a half worth of head here. It's a little off-white, but it's very compact on the top, on the sides. It's got some larger bubbles. If we hold it up to the light, super, super cloudy, not seeing through that. Seeing a bit of a shadow through it, but not much at all. Again, the coloration up in the light has got this deep, nice dark orange core to it. And the rest is just a nice bright orange color. Let's go ahead and move that over. We are going to move on to Cloud 19. Again, I've never had this before, so this is my first crack. Nose on the can. It has a little bit more of a heartier kind of aroma. It's not so much grapefruity zesty. This was more grapefruit zest. Still very dank. Has a lot of dank aroma to it, but citrusy, but not as citrusy as M-43. Let's go ahead and pour it. Color is a bit different. It's a little bit clearer, but still very cloudy, a little bit more on the yellow end of the spectrum coming out of the can itself. I'm going to slow down on the pour there so I don't over pour. But if we take a look at the head, it could just be me pouring it, but this one's got quite a bit more head. It's about 2.5 fingers worth of head. Really tight bubbles all throughout. Again, kind of very similar to the larger bubbles on the cross section. That's, I've reviewed a couple hundred beers by this point. That's generally how it looks. It's not really out of the ordinary. Holding it up to the light, it is more of a yellow. It's more of a lighter yellow, but very hazy looking. No shadow really through it. Not much of one. But yeah, they are very, very comparable. I would say the M-43 on color-wise is a little bit more on that orange kind of scale. We're going to move these. So this is how you're going to know which one is which. I'm going to have the Cloud 19 on my left, probably on your right. And on my right, your left is going to be M-43. So we're going to just keep it there just so we know which one is which. All right, so let's take a nose on the glass here. For M-43, a lot more of a sweeter, sugary, sweeter aroma coming out. I'm saying sugary, but it's kind of reminds me of like like sugar covered, orange slices, or the candy, the orange slice candy with the kind of sprinkle the dusting of sugar on it. Very, again, very citrus forward, very orange forward. The grapefruit fell off of this one. I think it fell into this one. So let's go ahead and try M43 first. Mouthfeel is very bright, very soft, very pillowy. The flavor itself is very orangey, very citrusy, just a slight hint of a grapefruit kind of bitterness that comes through. Not much hoppy bitterness to speak of. There is a slight citrus bitterness on the tail end. It's that citrus kind of zestiness adds to the bitterness throughout the entire taste. But that's straight up juice. That's a big time juice bomb. Again, if you've had M43, which you probably have if you're watching these videos, it's just very orange forward, very citrus forward. Again, the bitterness that I'm getting is maybe more of kind of like a zesty grapefruit bitterness. Let's go ahead and try the Cloud 19. Mouth feels a little bit on the lighter side. It's not quite as heavy, quite as thick as M43 is. The flavor is quite different as well. I feel like Cloud 19 has a bit more of a sweetness to it, a perceived sweetness. It has a bit more of it's not so much that grapefruit zestiness, but it's more of like grapefruit juicy on the finish. It has more of kind of a grapefruit juice bitterness, whereas this has more of a grapefruit peel type bitterness. Again, it's kind of a lighter flavor throughout, a lighter body throughout, a lighter it's not quite as heavy. I mean, when you try them back to back like this, it makes M43 feel downright heavy, but the flavor itself is just it's quite a bit lighter. It's more a sweeter kind of orange juice, whereas I feel M43 is a little bit more of it has that orange juicy flavor, but it has more of that kind of grapefruit zesty bitterness. Wow, that's a really tough decision to go back and forth, and which one would I pick head to head? Wow, this is a real tough head to head. I actually read online someone was talking about these two, and that's where I got the idea. Like somebody said, "Hey, have you paired this one with this?" And I thought that was I hadn't had Cloud 19, but I figured it'd be a good one to try. M43 is just so it's got that like I said, it's got that heavier mouthfeel. It's so much more bursting with flavor. It's so much more juice bomby. It's just so much more just juice, just explosion in your mouth. Whereas Cloud 19 is very juice-like, but it has. I feel like that. I said it was kind of grapefruit juice. I'm feeling like a little bit more of a malty profile starts to come through in Cloud 19, whereas M43, if it has that malty flavor in there, it's very well hidden. But it's almost like the backbone is a bit more malty. You get a little bit more malty sweetness out of Cloud 19. Man, this is a tough one to Desert Island pick my choice between M43 and Cloud 19. I still think M43 is still that high bar. I think Cloud 19 is very close. They're different, but they're very subtly different. They're not like leaps and bounds different, but they are different. If you taste these side by side like this, they are very different, or not very different. But there is a bit of enough of a difference that you can tell. I think that M43 is more just that kind of orange juice bomb. You get that big, like excited juice, orange juicy kind of flavor right up front on your tongue. Whereas with Cloud 19, you do get that, but it's a little bit more subdued. You get a little bit more of that grapefruit juiciness, and you get a little bit more of that kind of malty kind of backbone, and then the finish is a little bit drier on Cloud 19. If I had to pick Desert Island between the two, I'm going to go with M43. But Cloud 19 is definitely, if M43 is a little bit too sweet for you, I think that Cloud 19 would really fit in that slot if you're looking for a really great New England style IPA that just isn't quite as sweet. It's just a little bit more, it's a little bit more pulled back. It's a little bit more refined. It's not so in your face. Definitely a really great beer standing on its own. But in my opinion, you know, stacking it up against M43 just shows you how much Old Nation has just mastered this style. And I still think, you know, for me, M43 is still the high bar that all New England style IPAs need to rise up to try and meet. But I think that M43 edges out Cloud 19 in this head-to-head, in my opinion. All right, friends, that has been a head-to-head of Old Nation's M43 and Brew Detroit's Cloud 19. Have you had these two? Have you had them together? Have you had them separately? Which one do you prefer? And if you've had them together, what did you think? And what do you think of the new studio? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell because I'm here talking about beer twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you. And you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So make sure if you are subscribed or if you're subscribing, click that bell. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little Draft Therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.